Hi, everybody. It's Crazy, and for another week, we're up to episode number 21. Now, I moved the learned experience over to Wednesdays to kind of help out with Fridays because I was doing two videos. This kind of makes it a little bit easier, hopefully. So, let's go ahead and get started. Um, I'm working on this book right here called Automate the Boring Stuff with Python, and if you're wanting to start to get started in Python, this is not a good book to get started in. It's just basically assuming that you know enough that you just need a refresher. It doesn't give you, deep, learning kind of feel to it. It doesn't. It's just like, okay, this is this, and kind of do a couple of things, and that was it. So it's just basically a brush up, to try to catch you know, your mind back into gear where you were at before. So if you're just starting out, do not use this book for a starter. Okay. Now, if you go over to No Start to Press, which the link is in the description, they have a lot more books that can help you get started. And I would suggest, starting with one of those instead of this one. Now, also, HubbleBundle.com has bundles of books, and you can, either do Python or some other programming language. But the funny thing is, you get them in a bundle at a good price, and the proceeds go to charity. So check it out. Links in the description. With that being said, like I said, this book is not really a good starter. So it is a good book when you're wanting to get more knowledge of Python that you already know some about. Right now I'm up to page 162. And this is where I stopped at before this video. So let me scroll on up here. And this is where I ended last week. Make your own character classes. Now, when something says make your own, to me, it's an automatic, oh, I'm going to figure this out. This is going to be fun. And it kind of was. I was just like, I was so spooning it in because it was so awesome. But it's pretty simple, okay? You create your own little kind of class, own little character class that if you type something in these brackets, okay, then that's what it looks for. Okay, so if I typed in there Bob, it's going to look for the capital B, lowercase o, and lowercase b in everything in that list, or in that string of words, letters, numbers, whatever. It's going to try to find B-O-B, and one of those B's being capital. And say, okay, well, that's kind of fun. So this one right here has all the vowels. So it will find all the vowels in this string right here. Okay. So as I went down further, I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. Now, the caret in front of that, inside this little custom class, it actually becomes a negative character class, which is right here, negative character class. Okay, so basically it becomes opposite. It's like saying not, not vowels. So it's going to pull all the consonants, okay, from this string here. Okay, it's going to pull all the consonants instead of the vowels, which is kind of a neat shortcut. Okay, now with that character, okay, basically using the caret at the start of a regex, okay, will to indicate that a match must occur at the beginning of the search text. Okay, so caret at the front means it's going to look at the front of it. Okay, it will start at the beginning. If you have a $sign, it's at the end. Okay, they did a good little analogy on there. I can't remember where he had that at, but nonetheless, basically, at the start of it, if you put that caret there in front of the word, it's going to look for that particular word. Okay? But it's not going to look for it at the end. Only at the beginning. Okay? So if you typed in hello without the uppercase H, it's not going to find it. It's going to return none because it's not there. That's not what it's looking for. Okay? The $sign will find it at the end. Like, your number is 42. It's going to find 42 at the end. But if you wrote 42, it's not going to find anything because there's no digit 4 or 2 in that sentence. Okay. You can do it with string or numbers as well. It'll find, let's see, both the beginning and the end. Okay. So you put a caret in front, and at the end, it's going to look for numbers all the way through. Okay. If you put letters in between, it's not going to work. It's looking for numbers, only numbers, going all the way through. Okay. Even with a space, it's going to look for numbers only. And as soon as it gets that space, it's going to say, nope, don't know it. Okay. Wildcard character. The dot is kind of a fun one because you can put just about anything in there for that. Okay. But it's going to look for that specific again, but then it's going to return that, each word that actually has that. But if you notice, the lat, is not flat. Kind of strange, isn't it? Kind of got to watch that. It says, remember that the dot character will match just one character, which is why the match for the text flat in the previous example matched only lat. Okay? To match an actual dot, escape the dot with the backslash. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. Okay, matching everything with the dot star. So that matches everything in that particular spot. Like, for example, first name, and then you got a dot star, so anything within that area will pop up. So if I put supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, it's going to put that in there. Okay? And if you have one instance of it, which is here, or however many, this one here has 2, so you have 2 instances of it, so you're good to go with just 2. But say you had more, you can have as many as you want. Okay? Now, there's non-greedy and there's greedy modes. Okay? The non-greedy is basically using the question mark behind it, and it's saying, okay, you only want to get what's in this line, so you're going to get this right here. Well, technically that. Okay, it's only going to do this little part here. But the greedy one says, I want it all. So I'm going to bypass this one, and I'm going to take the whole thing. And that's what it does. It takes the whole thing. Kind of cool, huh? So, you can make it do greedy search, and it will find everything between that point of the beginning and all the way to the end. Okay? And then that brings me down to matching new lines with the dot character. I mean, that's where I've gotten up to so far. So, let's see, where are we at? Oh, not too bad. Okay, so I'm going to bring up this one here, which is what I've been doing. And as you see, like I talked about last week, I had the print statement to bring up all this information. And when I run it, it brings up this. And it shows everything, so that way it kind of helps me out learning. As you see, I got to the wild card and used the dot. Here goes the example, and this is what, this is its outcome right here. And I did that so it helps me learn. Now, being that I'm an old guy, it's kind of easier for me to learn if I constantly do it and see it. So, to the younger generation, does that actually help you learn? And what way would you learn that would actually benefit others? So this is what I think would benefit others. If they always say, write it down, say it, and look at it, and you'll remember it a lot easier than if you just did one of the 3. So that's with that so far. And like I said, I'm up to that, and I'm up to matching new lines with the dot character. So next week we'll work on that. So, which brings me back to my, let me see if I can get this to work right. Okay, which brings me to a very important question I have to ask. Are my videos worthwhile watching? Are they worthwhile to, follow along with? If so, let me know in the description. Let me know what you think. If not, jump on over to my server and let me know there. Because I really like to find out, is what I'm putting out there worth for other people to watch? Me, it's more of kind of like a journal, and kind of helps me out so I can actually look back at later in time when my old behind forgets. I can actually watch some of my videos and be like, oh yeah, that's right. So it kind of helps me, remember stuff. But if this is helping anybody else out, I would like to know. Let me know in the description. Say, hey, it helped, or hey, not so much. Or jump on over to my server and say the same. What do you think? So with that being said, I'm going ahead and end it here for this week. Before I get done with that, let me go ahead and say, do you think I should continue this on? If you think I should, let me know. I would really like, input on that description, or jump to the server and say, crazy, good idea, bad idea. Let me know. Should I keep these going? Okay, so until next time,